I am getting ready to crash this scammer Zoom call, and I'm so nervous. But here we go. Hello, excuse me. Hi. Can everybody hear me? Okay, for some context here, let's rewind a couple of weeks ago when I got a very interesting email from a whistleblower concerning my video about tow truck scams. I made it almost a year ago. This person claimed to be an employee of the company running that scam. Now, if you haven't seen that video, it exposed a group of scammers that were taking advantage of stranded drivers by charging them nearly 4 times the normal rate. At the time, I thought it was just a bunch of foreigners taking advantage of desperate Americans, but when I got my receipt from this company, the address at the top was to an office building in Texas, and that address is linked to a company called Safer Road Rescue. So if this operation is actually headquartered here in the United States, then we're looking at a homegrown scam. Someone here is running a full-blown racket by manipulating Google search rankings and bringing in massive profits by using cheap overseas labor. But according to Mr. Whistleblower, who I learned recently left this company, things have taken a very dark turn. So buckle up, because I'm about to take you down the rabbit hole into a world of manipulation, exploitation, and internet deception that you will not believe. Speaking of internet deception, one of the easiest things that you can do for yourself to avoid scams is to clean up your digital footprint and get your personal data out of the hands of data brokers. And today's sponsor, Incogni, can help you do this easily. Every time you browse a website, enter your email, use an app, or just even agree to some cookie policy, your data gets logged, packaged, and sold. Data brokers collect all that info, your name, phone number, home address, and even your browsing habits, and they build massive profiles on you. And then they sell it to marketers, insurance companies, and sometimes it falls into the hands of scammers. And that's why I use Incogni. It forces data brokers to delete your personal information. They handle the legal process, they do the follow-up, and they keep your data off these shady lists. Your info should not be for sale. We live in a day when this is one of those subscriptions that you just can't go without having. But the good news is that you can use my link, incogni.com/pleasantgreen, to get 60% off an annual plan with Incogni. Or you can use my coupon code pleasantgreen at checkout, and you can find the link in the description or pinned comment below. So take your personal data back and get started with Incogni today. So let's talk about Safer Road Rescue. I did some digging and I found nothing but bad reviews and negative experiences, primarily from towing companies in the United States and Canada. In a Facebook group called Tow Talk Nation, one individual said Safer Road Rescue is a scam. They also go by 24 Hours Group. First, they way overcharge the customer, and then they don't pay the tower. They are an overseas call center with no physical location in the USA. Another comment said they are a scam. They steal your customers, overcharge them, then look around for the cheapest provider to do the service. They put up fake accounts on Google or somehow take over actual accounts and reroute your calls to them. And as I've shown before, they create these Google listings to look like they're local towing companies. They go as far as photoshopping pictures to look like they have physical locations, but if you go to that address, there's nothing here. They're even somehow getting their number to appear on some actual Google listings for real companies. See how the number on their building doesn't match the one on Google? They must have hundreds of websites in every major US city, so when you're looking for a provider in your area, you might end up calling these guys instead.
Diabolical.
Now, the first question that I had for Mr. Whistleblower was, would you say that the employees know that this is a scam, or do they see it as legitimate? He said, I want to say that when we're first hired, we think we're legitimate. It wasn't until when I started to talk to providers when I realized what we were doing. And I wanted to know everything that they were doing, how they were doing it, and who was in charge. But instead of Mr. Whistle just explaining it to me, he gave me something better: access. I learned that they run the entire operation through a constant Zoom meeting, and Mr. Whistle still had valid links to these internal meetings. I knew that they wouldn't just let anyone in, so before joining, I created a profile using the name of one of the company's managers. And to my surprise,
from 12 p.m.
I was let in. Of course, I kept my camera off to avoid raising suspicion, but it seemed to work. I was watching the employees coordinate with each other and their bosses, lining up service providers and processing payments. It was the largest and most organized scam operation I had ever witnessed. Now, I'm blurring certain things in this video, not to protect the scammers, but to protect this video from privacy complaints. And I also want to be careful about revealing the identities of the remote workers who were based overseas. I'm not even sure all of them are fully aware of what they're a part of. And as you'll see later, many of them may also be victims themselves. But to give you the best idea of how they operate, I went ahead and I called one of the websites that they are running here in my city.
Service desk, how can I help?
Hi, is the towing company?
Yes, sir.
So I go on to tell her about a broken down car that I have. I say that I'm stranded at Costco and I need a ride to a mechanic about a mile away.
Yes, sir. We can help you with that.
All right, what was your name?
Angelica, sir.
Okay. So after learning her name, she puts me on hold to get me a quote. And that's when I run back to hop onto the company's Zoom meeting. And they have plenty of breakout rooms, but I make sure to join the team room where Angelica is working. And that's when I see her. Muted, but talking on the phone, presumably to a tow truck company in my area that might be able to help me.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? The service for tow service is $259. How would you like to pay?
$259 to take me a mile? Actually, that's a little higher than I'm willing to pay. I think I'm gonna call around and see if I can find some other prices.
Let me ask the driver if I can get the discount for this, okay? Please don't disconnect the call.
Okay. So now that she fears that she's going to lose this sale, she puts me on hold again. So I run back and I can see that she's about to ask her manager for permission to tighten her margins or get help finding a driver that will do it for less. And what the manager then does is start looking at the company map that has all the different towing companies that they have some kind of a relationship with.
Angelica, I got a good quote, 100 from QR Towing. So give them at least 160.
So she's gonna pay this dude in Utah $100 to come get me, and then they're gonna charge me $160.
Our driver gave a discount and they gave $160 for this tow service.
I'm sorry, how much?
$160.
160?
Yes, sir.
And what company is he from? Is he from your company?
Yes, sir.
I actually have been calling around. I think I found a better price. I found a different company in the area. They're only gonna charge me $100, so I'm gonna go with them, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. And then Angelica has to break the news to her manager that the deal has fallen through.
He have $100 lang daw.
Okay, all right, let's move on with that one.
But then I make a call to the very same towing company that she just got a quote from to get his side of the story. Did someone just call you and ask you about a tow job from Costco to MasterTech?
Yes. I thought they were like the insurance company, but they must be like a dispatch company.
Okay, maybe that's the deal. Can you see how messed up this is? They simply have discovered an industry that's run by good old boys with trucks and phones who don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about internet marketing. So this company is just stepping in and outranking them on Google, so you'll call them instead. And you'll pay 3 to 4 times more than if you were just to call that tow truck company yourself. So as you can imagine, a lot of drivers are catching on and calling Safer Roadside Rescue out on their bullcrap. And when that happens, they get marked with a do not contact on the company map. So I did the exact opposite and I called them all myself. Are you guys associated with a company called Safer Roadside Rescue?
No, and if you made a call to them, you shouldn't go through with them because they are a scam company.
Oh, they are?
So we don't want to do no towing for them because they're crooks.
Oh, really?
Safer Roadside is a roadside assistance company out of the U.S. that we refuse to deal with, actually.
So they're making big money just by dispatching little tow companies like us all over North America.
And then I find out from the customer he's all mad because they charge them, say, $300 for the service that I billed $150 for.
Okay, wow, I'm glad I called you. Thanks for clearing it up. Now, what I want to really focus on in this video are the employees that have been hired to carry out this operation. The tow truckers are furious with them, but the one thing that Mr. Whistle was so adamant about making clear is that for them, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. These guys are just pawns in a much larger operation. They're remote workers in the Philippines, Nigeria, and Kenya, places where you can pay someone considerably less and demand more out of them. Mr. Whistle told me that in recent months, it seems that the pressure to perform has dramatically increased. For example, let's take a look at some of the screenshots from the company's work chats. Here's one manager calling out employees in front of the entire company for not converting enough jobs in the last few days. Here's another manager who says, agents, start posting more jobs or some will be going home. Another manager says we have new employees who have worked here for only 3 days and have managed to convert 5 jobs per shift. So it is upsetting for us to see other employees who have worked here for so much longer who cannot reach these types of numbers. We want results from you, not excuses.
Don't give me excuses, give me results!
And then there's this one. If you don't step it up, you guys will be paying your own salary for today's work. Now, what does that mean? Well, apparently you get deductions from your pay for making mistakes. And the way that they do these deductions is through one of the most bizarre programs I've ever seen. It's called the drink menu. Basically, if you mess up, the managers serve you a drink or a deduction from your pay. For example, the Zero Hero. Now $30 for the agent who clocked in a full shift and left with nothing to show. Pairs well with awkward performance reviews and strained eye contact. Or the flatbed fix for a job left in progress without updates. Or the wrecker whiskey for follow-ups not conducted in a timely manner. Does this not scream psychological abuse to you? Apparently, if you get enough drinks, it can eat into your salary, which is what this manager is talking about when he says you'll be paying your own salary for today's work. Now, I know that this is just coming from one person who was brave enough to speak out, so I thought it would be important to get multiple sources to weigh in on this. So I asked Mr. Whistle if there were others who could speak to this, and he gave me the numbers of several former employees that I could reach out to, which I did, and I was surprised how many of them left me on red and refused to open up. Some of them were purposely vague. But one guy from Nigeria said, yes, it was the first 6 months, but with time, things started becoming really difficult and annoying in the company. They started making us work longer hours than the initial hours stated in the contract. 12 hours, sometimes 15 hours a day. Then I spoke with one individual who agreed to talk with me by phone on the condition that I would not record the conversation. They confirmed that they had been told that this was a legitimate dispatch job, but over time, things didn't add up. One day, a customer on the phone asked where they were located. So they answered honestly, the Philippines. But when management heard that, this agent was reprimanded and told to lie, insisting from then on they were based in the United States. At one point, they recounted a call from a woman stranded on the side of the road, clearly in distress. And wanting to help, they urged her to call 911, sacrificing a sale to do the right thing. But that act of compassion earned them yet another reprimand. They told me that the emotional toll working for this company was heavy. The constant pressure and deception often brought them to tears. In their words, working for the company was a love-hate relationship. They loved earning a decent paycheck, but they hated how they were treated. How much were they making, you ask? According to them, the starting pay was just $2.20 an hour. And after 3 months, it was bumped to $2.50. But if they didn't book at least 7 gigs in a day, they'd get hit with a $10 deduction. Nearly half the day's wages gone. Missed the mark, and hours of effort vanished from your paycheck. What's bizarre isn't just that the abuse happened, it's how public it was. Multiple sources told me that managers would discipline employees in front of their colleagues, dressing them down like disobedient children. Bonus summaries were posted for everyone to see, not to celebrate high performers, but to highlight who had received warning letters or whose bonuses were being held. One of the more shocking things that I saw was a manager posting a text message conversation of her firing an employee while they begged for mercy. I don't know if they thought that ruling by fear was a strategy or if they were just bad at hiding their contempt. Here's an incident that I just happened to witness live.
Dude, you didn't follow. Did you? Bro, I'm gonna give you a drink, Adore, if you didn't. You listen, I give you a drink again, man. You need to follow up on your jobs, bro. Come on, man.
It seems to me that this company isn't just outsourcing to save money, they're outsourcing to exploit, doing things that they could never get away with in the United States. Workers are paid a fraction of US minimum wage, pressured to deceive customers, and are routinely berated by clients and managers. The distance makes it easier to dehumanize them. It creates a power imbalance where people, many just trying to feed their families, have no real protection, no HR, no voice. In a country with fewer options and weaker labor laws, they were cheap, replaceable, and silenced. All while management seemed to stay busy building websites and gaming Google search results, and of course, watching the money roll in.
We'll try to end the day with 40K, 45K, something like that.
But yeah, that's a good Monday.
Love a good Monday.
So at this point, I didn't know what else to do other than to try to get this message to as many current employees as possible. And the best way that I thought that I could do that was by crashing their Zoom meeting.
Hello? Hello, excuse me. Hi. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
But then almost immediately someone muted me.
Yeah, please don't mute me. I have a very important question. Who's in charge, please?
And then they kicked me out, but I wasn't going to let that stop me, and I got right back in.
Please don't unmute me. I have a very important question. Do you know that this is a scam? Are your employees aware that you're impersonating fake towing companies and marking up the price 100%? Oh, don't you do that to me? Just by the show of hands, how many of you here feel like you're being treated well? How many of you feel like you're being compensated well for this work? How many of you feel like you're happy with your job? Don't remove me.
And then they refused to allow me back in, probably because of my display name. Apparently they have stopped letting in Darth Vader into their company meetings, so I'm gonna change the name to the boss. And I'm sure that they'll let the boss in, so let's change the name. It worked, and I made sure to find the breakout room where this very manager that I was impersonating was sitting.
Hello there, everybody, my friends across the galaxy. Does everybody know that this is a scam? Do you guys actually like working for this company?
Hello? And no surprise, they ended up changing all the meeting IDs. But I don't think it'll be too hard for me to find the new ones based on the number of disgruntled former employees out there. My guess is that some current employees will see this video, and I just want you to know that you deserve to be treated better. This isn't how you run a successful business, and these are not people that you should be making money for. This also ought to be a reminder to any business owner that your business is only as strong as the people behind it. If you treat your employees like disposable parts, don't be surprised when your machine breaks down. If you treat them with dignity, give them purpose, they'll give you their best because they want to, and they won't go spilling the tea to some YouTuber. Which is a reminder that I really can't do what I do without your support and your leads. So if you ever run into a scam or something weird, I've set up an email address that I've linked to in the description where you can send tips. And me and a few others will do our best to look into them and see if we can't help people become more aware of the different scams that are out there. I really appreciate you guys, and I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.